Someone you love very much is about to die.
Brennan Lee Mulligan does not break eye contact as he begins the first session of Critical Role's new D&D campaign with a character death.
Brennan warned us to come up with a backup character, and I haven't, because I really like mine, and I don't want her to die, which means that I will probably be punished.
Taylor Brennan! It's not up to me, man. It's the dice.
Brennan, the Dungeon Master, warned his players and viewers that this campaign and the dangers of his new world are not tailored for safety.
The encounters are not level balanced, meaning much like a sort of open world video game. If you go to an area with high challenge rating monsters, the bumpers are not up. We're not bowling with the bumpers up, right? And if that fills people with dread and trepidation, then that's fine with me. That's good TV.
And in each of the first few episodes, the characters faced death, with the dice deciding their fate, as Brennan promised. But it's also clear that this world-class DM, he has a finger on the scale. We're going to look at 5 scenes from these overture episodes of Critical Role's new campaign to analyze how Brennan Lee Mulligan masterfully steers around or toward death saves in Dungeons & Dragons. Because I'm Bob, this is where we learn how to have more fun playing RPGs together, and we are reviewing these scenes and episodes in chronological order so you can skip any spoilers for parts you haven't seen yet. But first, a brief word from our awesome sponsor, Displate. Displate creates unique metal posters of D&D art, vintage art and landscapes, cat memes, classic fantasy illustrations, and more. Their magnetic wall mount system is super easy, requires no drilling, and even in my last apartment where other big-name adhesive mounting tools wrecked the walls, Displate didn't leave a mark, and you can swap out designs whenever you want. They got Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Elder Scrolls, Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, and tons more, offering 2 million designs from artists around the world and from you. Custom displays let you upload your own design in a few clicks, making a great gift, and this Black Friday, Displate's offering 37% off 1 to 2 displays, 43% off 3 to 4, or 46% off 5 or more designs. Just use the discount link in the description or my code BOB at checkout to let them know who sent you. Back to episode 1. This opening scene sets the tone for how Brennan steers the element of chance in character death. Not with death saves quite yet, but with story. Through smooth exposition, we learn about this non-player character named Thiazi Fang, a war hero of Araman, leader of the Falconers' Rebellion, facing public execution by hanging. His brother, Hal, is sorrowful, watching from the crowd, but one of his brothers in arms, Azune, is nervous. Nervous because he is part of a plot to free Thiazi, and he knows that if their plot fails, or even if they succeed in stopping the execution, they might not make it out alive. Before Azune fulfills his role to double-check that the arcane ward designed to teleport Thiazi away is in place and functional, he takes one final moment to speak privately to his mentor and dear friend.
I can buy us a few moments. If you have something that you want to say to someone and want me to pass it to them, now is the time.
He smiles and goes, anything I have to tell anybody, I can tell them myself.
Confident, even cocky, of his pending escape, and Azune's scan confirms it. Everything is going according to plan, and the conspirators allow a herald of House Taconis to proclaim Thiazi's alleged crimes to the gathered crowd, when suddenly, Thiazi looks up, frightened. Hal in the crowd strains to detect what's running through his brother's mind, and the player rolls
Natural 20.
Brennan is flustered, but reels it back in.
Your bardic magic swells, and you connect through him and can hear his voice. He sees something in the sky, and his face changes. There's panic. He looks out and says,
I can still hear the falcons cry!
the lever is pulled. In your mind, he says, tell her that the rope goes taut. Snap.
Could this scene have been different and this death avoided if Azune had physically checked the arcane ward instead of only sensing its magical presence? Or if after that natural 20 revelation that Plan A was not going to work, Could the player characters have tried anything else to stop the execution? Or out of game, had all the players already agreed that this NPC's death would bring their characters together as it does throughout the rest of this episode? All we do know is that Brennan planned for this unseen thing in the sky to signal to Thiazi that the plot would fail and that he would die. Yet, as a great game master, Brennan took that final moment with Azane, just minutes prior, to express the very opposite, Thiazi's confidence that he would live, because in that moment, Brennan was playing the character and playing the audience, setting up expectations only to subvert them. This first character death shows how Brennan welcomes the dice to enhance the story, but perhaps in crucial scenes around character death, he does not let the dice tell the story. We investigate that distinction further in our next scene. Azane, joined by another soldier, Tayor, and a wizard named Octus, investigate the apartment where Thiazi's other cohorts plotted his escape.
I need all three of you to make an investigation check for me, if you'd be so kind.
And hold on, we now know that Brennan asking for an investigation check here is wild. Why? Because only Tayor rolls well and he does not find a clue. He finds another player character, a fairy named Thimble, stuck under a grate, unconscious and dying. We have to wonder, if no one rolled well on that check to find her, would Brennan have let Thimble die before really entering the story? Based on what happens next, it seems like it.
Laura, give me a death saving throw.
Boldly, Brennan calls for a death save before any other character can intervene. And thankfully, her first roll is a success, but D&D death saves are best of 3. She's not safe yet. Brennan takes Thimble's first success and describes visions flashing through her mind, but still, no other characters get to jump in before he calls for her second roll.
Roll another death saving throw.
Oh, shit, okay.
Oh my God.
17.
Another success. So things are looking good. Once again, Brennan describes a vision, and once again, no other characters intervene. He calls for the third save.
Oh, fuck. 1. 2? That's
Two successes, 2 failures.
Remember, best of 3. So her next roll has a 50-50 shot of taking out Thimble, her own character, before she was even conscious in this campaign. Up until this moment, the dice alone have made the decisions, but now Brennan decides to steer the outcome.
Everybody, for the first time in this campaign, roll initiative.
He has everyone roll for their turn order. Highest goes first to see if anyone can react fast enough to intervene before Thimble's next roll.
Natural 20 for 22.
Natural 20. 20, 22, what did we get here?
22.
Hands are so cold.
And hold up, a tie? Are you kidding me?
It's bad?
No, 22 is what my
22.
initiative was.
Okay.
Okay, but you got a 22 as well.
I did.
On a nat 20, you're going to go first.
Okay.
And this decision breaks the tension, because by now, the viewer and the other players know that Tayor has an ability to heal a character without requiring a roll. You see though, that initiative roll could have easily gone another way, where Thimble went first, failed her last save, and died. Not unlike what might have happened with that investigation roll at the start of the scene. Okay, and I had to look this up myself, but technically, yeah, the players, not the DM, should have decided the turn order on a tied initiative roll, though I think anyone would agree that letting the nat 20 go first made sense. The point is, as GM, you cannot count on the dice to perform your desired outcome. If you really want a thing to happen, find the fairy in the grate, heal the fairy before she dies, then you should not have anyone making rolls for these outcomes. Thus, it's amazing to watch how Brennan makes clear what he wants to happen. And sure, he tilts the scale. Okay, now we can have everyone roll initiative, but he still lets the dice have the final say. Most of the time. Scene 3, the opening of episode 2.
I need all of you to roll a d4.
What?
2.
2.
2.
4. I'm going to need Azune and Cadigan to each give me a death saving throw.
Here we go again. It's not clear what might have happened if they all rolled a 4, or if he even had a particular number in mind for what would trigger death saving throws here, but he continues, describing an epic battle.
Overhead, arrows fly through the sky. Nearby, Loza Blade, about 12 or 13 years younger than the last time we saw her, cries out as thump, thump, 2 arrows go into her shoulder.
Did you catch that?
12 or 13 years younger than the last time we saw her.
This is a flashback. Now, there could still be consequences, like grievous scars or tragic memories from this past battle that the players can draw on for their storytelling in the present day. And again, this was an entertaining scene as a viewer, and it seemed fun to play through as well. I've experimented with this sort of thing in my own games, usually with players portraying NPCs, even important bad guys, to flesh out the details of what's happening elsewhere in the game world. But I've learned from these experiments that you gotta be careful when death is on the line. And so in a case like this, when death isn't on the line, don't use the death save mechanic, or at least don't call it that. And Brennan handles this perfectly later in the same episode. Scene 4, Thiazi's brother Hal and his wife? This is where I get a little fuzzy on the details. There are 13 player characters, give me a break. Hal and the mother of his children, Taisha, are in Thiazi's office, examining an artifact that looks very weird.
You stare at shuddering flakes of black ceramic, dancing under the vibrations of the table, closer and closer together.
I reach forward with one and just like nudge 2 pieces together.
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Why? Natural 1.
So we've all been there. Obviously cursed item, but someone's gotta touch it. That's part of what makes these games fun. This felt like a very relatable gaming moment, and Brennan made it a teachable moment as well.
This is episode 2, and I'm going to set a really important, let's call it precedent, about touching stuff.
After a long, detailed description, she falls unconscious. And I had to look up the details of this box, but it is understood to be a coffin, apparently made to hold an angel of death. So it certainly feels like Brennan was extremely generous to have that natural 1 saving throw only make Taisha fall unconscious, rather than go into death saves or straight up die. But he played it right. Hal was right there to heal her anyway, and it probably would have not served the story well for this heroic player character to die just from touching a box. Flashback to Campaign 1. And that seems to be the key to how Brennan wields death saves: heroism and timing. Scene 5, where in episode 4, I'm keeping this one super brief and almost spoiler free, but the surprising fact of this episode that makes it relevant to this video is definitely a spoiler. So 3, 2, 1, a player character dies. That practically never happens on Critical Role, and they didn't even get to roll any death saves because the sheer amount of damage was enough to kill them outright according to the rules. Remember when Brennan said this?
The encounters are not level balanced.
He wasn't kidding. But then, a Reddit post exposed another surprise about this moment. Without further spoilers, essentially, the player wanted to play an undead character, and rather than have that death as part of their backstory, Brennan and the player decided together that it would be cool to see how that plays out in-game. I, for one, as a GM and player of role-playing games, agree. That is cool. As a viewer, though, maybe I should not have been surprised to find out that once again, the element of chance around this character death was tilted toward a predetermined outcome. So, what do you think about this? Should DMs truly let the dice tell a story of random events and chaos, or should DMs rely on dice as little as possible so that the story remains cohesive, coherent, and heroic? I think everybody has to draw their own line somewhere, and my own line is way further toward random events and chaos. However, for something as significant as character death, especially in a type of game where the characters are heroic and expected to survive grim situations, Brennan's style seems like the perfect fit. And it'll be interesting to see if Mulligan death saves catch on. Thanks again to our sponsor Displate, thanks to my patrons and YouTube members for their direct support, and keep building.